Ladies and gentlemen, we have comedian Heather McDonald in the house.
I'm a fan. As soon as your name came up with our book, I went, absolutely.
Well, thank
100%.
you.
His voice dropped. He went, absolutely.
It's hard to do that
Sexy.
in email, but I did it. Do it.
Yeah.
Bring her in.
Special app that drops your words down.
Because I knew you from Chelsea Lately.
Right, you were a guest, a regular guest, like sat on the couch.
Oh no, I wasn't like one of the panel guys.
Right, you were a real guest.
Jokes.
I was.
I was an actual guest.
Don't say slang jokes and jerk your hand in the air.
I wasn't like one of the guys on the side
But
who were like,
weren't you-
"Oh, look at me!" I was like, "Hey, I'm there."
But
to
aren't
feature.
you at the time dating Whitney Cummings? Or was that part of the connection?
Interesting.
Or you did know her, right?
No, not yet. We weren't dating at that time.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, so then you came on, and then the dating started.
Sparks flew.
Sparks flew. Emotions ran high. Love that girl. You know Whitney, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great girl.
Yeah, she's doing great.
So you're doing your own podcast now.
Yes,
Killing the game.
I've been doing it for 1 year. Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald.
Juicy Scoop. Is that, if there's one way to get female fans, why do women like
Or me.
gossip?
You know what?
Why do gay, this? I'm sorry to ask this, but
Yes.
why do you think very gay men, there are different kinds of gay,
Yes, I agree.
But very gay, sort of what you would consider perhaps men
Flamboyant?
that are very, well, with more of a feminine bent.
Right.
A guy who you would typically think probably is on the bottom. And women, this is going to be, I'm going to get flack for this, I don't give a shit.
I don't either.
But they tend to be more into gossip than dudes like me and Brendan. And
Absolutely.
what is that about?
That was one of the things I always said. And so when I was putting it together, the producer says, is there something that you say, like a tagline? I'm like, well, I always talk about like, did you get any juicy scoop? Like whether it's like my trainer comes in the morning, she's a mom at my school. So I'll be like, did you go to the pool party this weekend? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, then we can do an hour. But if you didn't go, then you're going to come with nothing. Like I need to hear some juicy stories. Like what mom got
you
drunk,
need some sort of drama.
who's getting divorced. Fill up the time.
Do you know I will torture my wife by doing stuff? I'll make something up. I'll torture her and I'll say she'll have a friend. We'll have a mutual friend, and I'll go like this. I'll go, heard some gossip,
and she loves
about
it.
that. And she goes, what?
Yeah.
And I go, can't tell you. She goes, what do you mean you can't tell me? I can't think of anything else. And I just made it up.
You know what's worse than that is when my husband will be like, yeah, so I guess some like shit's going down with
very vague.
Yeah, with the whole like golf tournament and like I don't know.
But
and
we do it
what
too.
is it? But what is it?
But we do it too because I got done.
I'm like, well, who said it?
I was doing this commentary.
You're a little gossip, actually.
Yeah, I love the gossip. But I was doing this commentary gig boxing, and I heard like some gossip about a big time boxer.
Right.
What I told Brian, text him, bro, I got some stuff on Triple G. He goes, ooh, I can't wait to hear it. We do the exact same thing. It's the reason why like reality shows are so big.
Oh, totally.
Because it's a juicy gossip show, but it's scripted.
But
that's why they're so
say,
big.
like, why do you guys care so much about the housewives and stuff? I'm like, our housewives to us, we feel like I will talk to my own friends that I've had for 30 years and talk about the Real Housewives as if they were part of our group. Like, can you believe what she said? And then we talk about it, and I'm like, it's the same way that guys would always talk about sports. We're like, this coach is leaving, and this person's being traded, and they didn't have a good season. And we'll say the same thing. We'll be like, I don't know. I don't know if Vicky's going to be asked back. Yeah. She made a real ass of herself.
But there's a difference because one is concerning winning. A strategy for winning. So was that a good strategy or not?
No, I disagree.
No,
Brian.
Housewives
Most of the
is
time,
about
like,
winning.
Housewives
it's all
about
fighting.
Who's doing
That's all they
better,
do is fight.
Jobs, but in sports, it's not about strategy of winning. Guys don't break down strategy of winning. Guys break down the topic these days. No, like today, the biggest headline was Kevin Durant dropped the ball. Kevin Durant choked. They don't talk about the game plan that they had.
Right.
They talk about the failure of the guy who should have been doing something. They don't talk about how great Stephen Curry was.
Right.
They talk about the guy who messed up.
Yet there's still this divide. Like women tend to like to, and it's an interesting thing because they say that with little girls and little boys. So little boys can make friends right away. You just throw a ball in the middle of the yard.
Perfect example.
Girls have to share experiences. And they click up real quick.
So it's harder to make friends as a girl?
It's just the way women, I guess, fight. Also, the way they establish dominance and reputation is through gossip, whereas men tend to do it physically through sport.
It's always a red flag if a girl goes, I don't have any girlfriends. I just don't get along with them.
Definitely you don't want that. And then all my friends are guys. I have all these guy friends. Well, your guy friends want to fuck you, and you probably are fucking them. That's why they like to be your friend.
Boom.
But that if you have no
100%.
girlfriend, not good. But
100%.
with my son who's 13, when he was about 7 or 8, I remember I was like putting him to bed. I'm like, hey, why don't you play with Jude anymore? This kid, and he goes, I don't know, we just don't play anymore, something like that. And I'm like, what happened? I don't understand what happened. Like, I'm thinking as a girl, someone said something mean. What? And he's like, he plays kickball and we play basketball or whatever.
Simple.
And I was
Black
like,
and white.
and I just go, oh my God, it's the difference. And I look at my son all the time and I'm like, I look at my sons now and I'm like, I need to start being more like a 13-year-old white boy who walks around.
Black and white.
And now he's tall, so he really doesn't give a shit. Like, I mean, I'm like, you don't even, like, I'm like, he can't even be kidnapped anymore. He's like, are you worried about me being kidnapped? I go, no, you've aged out of that time.
Big. Pedophiles don't like big, tall,
like
lanky
your
guys.
sister I'll be worried about for the rest of her life. But once they get to about 5'9", too hard to keep in a basement. Like,
You're
it's
good.
not.
No,
so
you're
I'm
good.
like, not as
Doesn't
worried
fit in the
about you
box.
anymore.
Yeah. Unless he goes like a Penn State situation, but he should be all right.
That's so interesting, and that's so damn true.
Yeah.
It's
True.
said that
They get to a certain age where they're
that
going to
we
be
were-
okay.
Yeah.
Well, my son.
No one's raping the tall, lanky basketball player.
My son is like one of his best friends is Joe Coy's son. They go to the same
that's
Catholic
right, yeah.
school, so we all go out for the science.
Did you say Catholic school?
They go to Catholic school, yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
It's good.
Listen,
I'd
there's
still
no
be a little worried.
There's
I'd
no
still be a little worried.
I listen. This is the truth
thought we were
about
on the same base here.
This is the truth about Catholic schools that no one gets in 2016. There are no priests left. They aren't teachers. All the
surprised.
girls are boys. All the altar boys are girls.
Yeah.
Nobody's left alone with anybody. There's an adult in every. My son's in Cub Scouts.
2 adults.
Boys-
You say Cub Scouts?
Nobody goes.
Okay.
Nobody goes
You're
on
2
any.
for 2.
You're not even allowed
was
to
in
go
Cub
on a
Scouts.
camping trip without your parent, and you're in your own. There's
it's crazy. It's crazy.
There is no opportunity to molest anymore.
You're
I'm being
you're one more
completely
strike away
honest.
from going
There's
full.
no opportunity. No molestation.
Scouts.
There is
Catholic
no more.
school.
There is no opportunity. So wait. Drake goes, oh, I'm gonna ride my bike to school tomorrow. And I'm gonna go over to Gus's house with little Joe Coy, and his name's Joe, little Joe, and all these other kids. And we're like, okay. And so then I get home. I'm like, what are you doing home? And he goes, oh, I guess I wasn't invited. They're like, dude, you kind of invited yourself. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like the meanest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. So then all of a sudden the boys show up because one of the boys like slashed his knee and I had to like, and I was like, oh, you guys want to hang out? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, aren't you kind of happy that I got like this friendship going? He's like, no, it doesn't. Who cares? Like, none of that shit matters.
He's not emotionally needy.
It's none of that stuff matters.
See, I would say every guy's like that because that would have hurt my feelings. If I would have showed up and they're like, nah, man,
You're
beat it,
sensitive,
nerd.
But you're not sensitive at the
fuck
same
you
time.
guys.
But like
at the same time,
yeah.
if you're at the same time though, remember this: if you were younger and you ended up blowing your buddy off for a girl or went home with a girl, and he was like, dude, we're supposed to spend the day together, you'd be like, hey, bro, don't bring that shit into my gym. Get out of my face.
Yeah,
right now.
but
You know what I'm
that's
saying,
with
though?
girls. It's like it's guy code. Like
Yeah,
when
guy
I was
code.
single and there'd be a girl and I'm like, "Hey, B, I'll see you tomorrow." You were like, "What? I thought we were doing dinner." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
please.
yeah, easy.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow."
Of course.
But if we're together and I'm just like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go hang out with these guys. Have a good night." That's fucked up. That would still hurt my feelings.
You know,
yeah.
there's
if I came to the comedy
Choose
store,
other dudes.
yeah. If I was at the comedy store and I got there and you're like, "Hey, man, I'll just see you tomorrow. I'm gonna hang out with Rogan and the guys."
that's
I'm like,
fucked
"Hey,
up.
bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man."
There's no room in our hangout circle. For
No,
So if you diss a friend for a girl,
it's guy code.
that's fine.
It's guy code.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But
It's
you
like
know the
baseball.
difference is a lot of girls are like complete like blockers. They're cock blockers because they're like they'll sometimes gang up on the girl that has a boyfriend and they'll just be like really kind of just giving her shit and like kick him to the curb and oh my God, he's awful because they're miserable.
Yeah, there's
and there was
nothing
actually
worse.
like a whole book
Nothing
written
worse.
about it that basically said, hey, listen, bitches, like you're ruining your own game.
No, we
because
just-
you're all gonna end up alone.
remember this,
like
B?
be happy for your friend. She's got a boyfriend. Guess what? When she goes out with him Saturday night, she's not going to want to meet you at Soul Cycle at 9 a.m. She was fucked 3 times.
Yeah,
she
bitch.
wants
She's
to snuggle.
exhausted. She needs
does not
coconut
wanna-
water and a nap.
Like,
Yeah.
let her out of the Soul Cycle plan, bitch. Like, just go by yourself.
And that's how friends should be because
Soul Cycle.
Hey, we had a buddy in Boston.
I just think it's really kind of fucked. I mean, Sarah, I know she's all excited, but like, seriously, like I reserved the 2 bikes next to each other,
No,
and then she
you can't be
texted
my
me at
friend.
9:05.
No, we had a buddy in Boston who he's a dime piece, and we were in a group, and the girls all
Wait, a
wanted-
dime piece. What does that
Good
mean?
looking dude,
A 10,
a dime,
Oh,
10.
okay.
So all the girls want
What
to
are
hook
you
up.
guys?
I'm a solid 6. He's probably a 4.
No, Brendan's a 9.
I would.
You got to give Brendan's a 9.
You're not a 4.
6 and 4, I'd say.
No. I'll give you a 9.
I'm not a 9.
Nah, dude, girls
I'm not
like
a 9.
every girl.
I'm
likes
not
you.
a 9.
Brendan's a 9.
I think you're in LA 8.8.
Yeah, he's hot.
That makes me a Denver 10.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
I'm a hard 8 in LA.
I think you're a hard 8.
Because most girls are 10 in Iowa. They come here, they're hard 3s.
Yeah, no,
I think you've always been considered good looking.
I'm all right for a comedian, I guess.
For
a
49,
comedian, you're much better looking than the others because you're not all fat and sloppy.
Right. I'll take that.
well, see, that's not good.
I've never had it. I've always.
There's only like a handful of guys your age that are as funny as you.
Oh, he's the best looking
that can
comedian.
wear a bathing suit.
Yeah.
But you're the best looking comedian. But that's like saying I'm the fastest guy in the world because I got gold in the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like.
I mean,
it's like saying
Okay,
I'm funny
get back
for
to
a
your
fighter.
story, the
like
dime
I'm funny
piece.
for a fighter. That doesn't mean shit.
Tell me about the dime piece. I don't want to hear about fighting.
Oh, our buddy who's a dime piece. All the girls like wanted to go home with this guy. So one girl that went home with him.
Now you're at a bar.
We're at like a restaurant. So
Okay.
then the girl who that he liked and they were gonna go whatever do their thing. The other girls were so catty. They're like, oh my god, what a hoe. And I was like, first of all, you guys are just mad because it's not you. Anyone else? All of you
They
would
were all
be down.
young, kind of. They were
Yeah.
all like.
I also had
We
a
call
friend
them
that did
chicken
the
heads.
opposite, where she'd pick out like ugly guys at the bar and be like, "He's cute for you." I'm like, "No, he's not. Shut up. He's not
He's
cute,
cute
for
for
me."
you.
It's that weird breeding instinct gone wild. Like it's this hoarding instinct or something. There's some guys I remember back in the day that had to have sex with all the girls, me, and they would no.
You talking about the guy with no filter, no
Just
standard?
the guy who had to hit it on every girl. Every girl's got to be his, in a way. It's like, hey, bro, share the wealth and relax. Let's build up your friends.
Well, there's-
so we can
Wait,
all
back
have a
when you
girl-
were-
we,
Okay,
we
back
have
when
a
you're
friend who
single.
does this though, B, who
Wait.
like just a troll walked by him like, It's like, bro, it's the only girl in a mile.
Yeah,
Relax,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Why are you
Drives
grabbing?
me
yeah,
nuts.
exactly. What were
But
gonna
when
say?
you were single
She's the lunch lady.
and you were, trying to hit it all the time, would you ever tell a girl that you were exclusive and then have like 3 other exclusives at the same time?
You talking about having a team?
I was a
Like a
liar.
starting 5?
I was a terrible liar. 100% the answer to that is yes. If you mean, did I have a stable
Yes.
of women?
That did not all thought they were the only ones.
No, you got a starting 5, and then you had a couple hotties coming off the bench.
You know what it was with me? Yeah, you know what it was with me, and I'll be honest with you. I was never. I love women. I like if I was dating a girl or I found it awkward to, if I was having sex with somebody on a regular basis or whatever, I found it awkward to suggest that I was going on a date with somebody because I felt it was kind of bad manners.
You're not an asshole.
No,
that's
I
why.
was never an
Like
asshole.
you'll never
I
hear
never
a
wanted to
girl
hurt
say a
anybody's
bad thing
feelings. Right.
about you
Yeah.
because the one thing you're not. Neither am I.
Let
We're
me
never
ask you- okay,
assholes.
so when you're
I don't like
dating-
hurting somebody's feelings.
Here's a
man.
question.
Or
No,
being
we're-
disrespectful.
We're not Johnny Depp here.
I have a questions, okay? And let's get into that.
Yes,
but wait,
please.
when you're dating, boning several
Boning?
girls.
Yes.
Boning.
That's old school.
So you've got, I am old school.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay?
I was atrocious with my behavior. Keep going.
Okay, so you have your girl, you have good chemistry, she comes over, but you don't, the relationship started out without dinner dates, so it's continuing on to just meet. Sometimes it's at 3 p.m, sometimes it's whatever. So
she's
it's
like a booty call?
she's like a booty call, but like,
But a regular.
but in her mind, it might seem more
Booty call
because it's
plus.
pretty often.
Booty call
Booty call plus.
Booty call
We call
plus.
it booty call plus.
But then you would meet somebody else and you would say, "Can I take you out Friday night or whatever?" And you really do go to her house, pick her up, take her to a dinner that you pay for.
she's probably a lot prettier.
What is it that she's prettier, or did you just
I'll tell you exactly what it
some
was.
more of these in as a challenge? Please tell
I'll
me.
tell you exactly what it was
For the
me.
female listeners at
Brian,
home.
break it down.
I'll tell you exactly what it was for me. There were women that I knew I was never going to be in a relationship with.
Why?
Even ones I
But
really
why?
liked. I'll tell you exactly
There's
why.
so many
Okay.
red
There are
flags.
too many. There's too much damage, and I didn't trust that they would be good long-term mates.
Preach.
I didn't trust them. So what I would do is keep them at a sexual distance. So I'd have sex with them, but it was always that distance. And there were a couple of women I remember who I started to really like, but I liked them for the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm.
I liked them for their damage. But men, I
And when
think-
you say damage, do you mean straight up they tell you, like, I don't have a dad, my last boyfriend
it
beat
could-
me
well, that-
damage?
that could be
now you're making me
self-esteem.
horny right now.
Yes.
'Cause that's my type.
That's your type. No, it could be depression, self-esteem, maybe the way they grew up.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of baggage.
But also,
horrible baggage.
I think this is going to sound crazy too. Looking back on it, the ones that I really gelled with were a lot like me. They represented my damage. The relationship was kind of with myself. So those kind of women, as much I had long-term, some long-term relationships with women that I never should have been involved in. I knew I was heading down the wrong path, but it was something I was working out for myself, maybe.
We have the same problem, though, because I think we get along with everyone.
Yeah.
So a lot of times girls mistake that for, oh, wow,
we have amazing chemistry.
It's like,
but yeah,
well, no, I get along with everyone.
That is true, because I do feel that the same
brought
way.
Ray Rice in here,
even
we'd be good
sometimes when
friends.
people will say, like, if you're meeting with producers or something, like, so, like, who do you have great chemistry with? And I'm like, I don't think I was ever like on the round table or something and didn't get along with someone.
No,
like it's so rare. Like sure, there's an asshole here or there along the way in comedy.
But I think
like,
girls are so used to assholes.
But I think you're right in that there's certain guys that, or they get along with women better. Like even though they're really masculine, they have a good rapport. No, but they have better rapports with girls, and then they do interpret that as like, he really is into me, or we have this amazing chemistry. But he's able to have that amazing chemistry
it's a good problem,
with 7 other women at the same time.
I think it's a good quality to have.
Yeah, amazing chemistry. There's a big difference between sexual chemistry and intimacy. Intimacy. Get the gadoosh. Intimacy.
Drop that knowledge,
that eye contact.
49-year-old knowledge.
Yes, it's that eye contact. It's that girl you want to cuddle, and more importantly, and it's when you look at her one day and you go, ooh, oh shit, I don't want her dating anybody else.
Boom.
That's my girl.
Boom.
Now you're fucked. Now that's your girlfriend. Dove Davidoff does a great joke where he says falling in love is a little bit like sitting on a wet couch at a party, and you don't realize the couch is wet until you're like, motherfucker, and you're like, and now my pants are wet and it's too late. That's the best metaphor I've ever heard for how you fall in love. So men,
well, especially for someone like you, that for so many years wasn't really seeking the love.
And I had options. That was the other problem.
Yeah.
That's the other problem.
If you're a dude like me, not to be, I wasn't, but when you're a guy.
And it's easy. Yeah, it's easy to get laid.
Who's
not
in
a challenge.
Situation where having access to beautiful women,
and
a lot of them is fairly easy.
Right. And as a comic, my God.
A TV show comic, My Cool House in Venice. Look, it's not, if you're not a total misfit.
We call it the perfect storm.
Hey, in LA, it's not that hard if you're not a total misfit to and that becomes its own weird sort of sensation.
Then it falls on you though, right? Because then it's up to you not to be a scumbag and not, to try and find it. And we have friends like this, the guys he's 50, he's famous, he's single. We have buddies who are like that. It's like, dude, this road does not end well. Yeah. The guy who's constantly
never been married?
He's never been married.
That's a huge red flag.
He constantly plays this game, and then he'll go, man, I'm looking for the one, and then we know damn well it's never going to happen.
And that's a huge thing, is I realized at 40 years old, I had this really weird experience where I was dating this great girl, and I thought to myself, I looked at my nephews, and I said, if my nephews needed a kidney, or I needed to give my life to them, I would, because I'm less important. And I didn't mind that. But what I thought to myself was, I am so the center of my own universe that I'm getting so particular about my tastes, how I like my food. I'm so self-centered without even realizing it. And I think that was a huge part of what got me into the mode of saying, I'm going to actually get married or get serious, have children, have a family. And with all that, there's a lot that you give up.
Yeah.
But there's something that's very kind of interesting, and Brennan and I talk about this all the time because now we have kids. When you have other people in your life whose happiness and well-being and development is more important in many ways than your own. For a man to be in 3rd or 4th place is not a bad thing when you get to a certain age, especially guys like me and I, who've been at the center of our own fucking party, do what we want, when and how. We still kind of do, but there are parameters now. There are governors on it, and I think that's
we started talking about it today because there's that shooting at UCLA, right? 2 dead. I don't know if we got more.
It was a murder-suicide.
3 days. 3 dead? Is it a current event?
Yeah.
All right, we'll save it for a current event. But we were talking about today because UCLA, man, what the fuck? Like, I'd love for my kid to play football at UCLA or play ball at UCLA. That'd be amazing. I love that kid.
But you can't choose or not choose a school. It's like every single place.
I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I would. You're probably safer in Westwood with all those Asian kids at UCLA than anywhere else. Yeah. But all I'm saying is that, it makes it that it can happen anywhere, man. It literally can happen anywhere. When you have a kid, like, I've never thought before a shooting at UCLA, I'm like, oh, that fucking sucks. Move on. With my day. Now I called Brian, like, dude, how about this? I mean, you were like, dude, what
you
the
said
fuck?
it. You said it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It sucks,
like because you know how much your child means to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course. I mean, it's like it's. I went to USC and it's actually much safer now than when it was when I was there.
Campus, private school, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
surrounded by the hood.
But the hood was
all the
closer,
white people like stay.
But it was closer than it is now. Like throughout the years, they've bought the old houses around, and that's where the professors live, and they've made it much. But when I was there, my graduation was a week and a half after the LA riots, our speaker said, "Forget it."
Makes
a lot
sense.
of people went home and just said, "Fuck it," and didn't even come back for graduation.
Yeah, fuck your graduation.
There were all these the National Guard everywhere. But when I was there from the very beginning, it was like I'd seen the movie Colors. I was
the
like,
gang shit was real.
Yeah, the gang shit was
Super
real. Like
real.
my mom was like, you cannot go there. They pull out the sorority girls out of their BMW sunroof by their ponytails and like rape them. And like those were the stories that we were hearing. But I just was like, no, this is where I want to go. And what was cool about it, being, a white female, is it made me hyper aware, and knock on wood, I've not been a victim of a random crime because I wasn't some kid walking around the woods in Santa Cruz at midnight going to the library. Like every time you went to the library, you'd call like basically an Uber back then, and they would come and pick you up, and you could hire it'd be free. An escort could take you anywhere. And so I was always driving with my doors locked before there were automatic locks, always looking like
Well, no, I mean,
and
LA,
so it made me really secure
LA,
like
LA,
that.
when we shot Mad TV,
Yeah.
we would go to certain places and we would have a memo that said, nobody wears blue here. Or nobody wears
no
red.
blue, red.
Right.
Not allowed to wear
Yeah.
red or blue. We were like, well, huh?
Yeah.
And that was
No,
a
it was
factor.
real. It was a real thing. But I mean,
USC's a great school.
but now
Great
it's
school.
just with what goes on with the shootings is that, crazy people have access to guns and they go crazy one day.
But this is the thing. Brian and I were
fuck.
talking about this. As scary as this stuff is, America's still safer than it's ever been.
Yes.
We see all this stuff on CNN. We see all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's still safer than it's ever
But
been.
when we were talking about molesting and all that stuff, it is less now than it was like 30 years ago.
Not only
Random
that-
kidnappings and all that stuff is way down.
Because kids have cell phones.
Because we're teaching our kids, and we, our parents, are more aware. Like when you saw Spotlight, they were always going after the single mom with like 9 kids, and you'll pick up little Bobby up father from school. Like we now have 2 kids or 3 kids, and we're like on top of them all the time and know exactly what we're doing. So it's like the parents become better parents because of this, and like so that you're right in that respect.
Because before we didn't really have to think about it. Like my kid's 3 months old, so don't get it twisted. It's not like I'm some old parent here. But before you really didn't have to think about it. Like I was talking about today during the shooting while we were driving. I'd say it's heartbreaking. When I was a kid, I'm only 33. When I was a kid, there wasn't none of this shit ever happened. What we did, I remember there's a white van going around like trying to kidnap kids with candy. I always had a sweet tooth, so my family was like, "Oh shit," because they could have got me. Yeah. But I remember there's a creepy dude in a white van rolling around Virginia Court Elementary trying to kidnap kids.
I don't mean to brag, but I was flashed twice in 4th grade.
There you go.
By 2 different people.
Yeah.
One, the guy parked.
We talking trunk or ass?
No, like the guy parked outside of the Catholic school. We were playing volleyball, and he parked out there. And 2 weeks prior, I had walked home from school, and this guy pulled over and said, "How do you get to this street?" And I was like, "Oh, you take 2 blocks and you make a left." And he goes, "Well, what about this?" And then he whipped out his dick in his car, but I saw it and I turned around.
What
and then
about
I came
this?
home and I turned around and then I was so embarrassed. But somehow I told one of my brothers and they immediately told my parents and the cops came over. But you always are like, why wouldn't you tell me? But it's no matter what, it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything wrong. It was embarrassing. I did not want to tell my parents.
Yeah, I hear you.
So then 2 weeks after that, after I'd spoken to the cops and they're like, "This ever happens again, you get the license plate number. That's what you do." Yeah. So now we're playing volleyball and all the girls are like, "Oh my God, there's this guy in the car." Just playing with himself, just getting off on like 9-year-olds in a jumper, playing volleyball. I'm like, immediately I'm like, "Get me a paper and pen." And I wrote down the number and then like somebody finally went and told like someone, so the guy pulls off and I'm like, "Here you go to the, Sister Patricia, here's the license plate number. Call the LAPD. They'll catch him in 5 minutes." And sure enough, like he was caught and everything. And then I'm like, everybody else's mother came to pick them up that day. And I came home and I'm like, Mom, why didn't you pick me up? Didn't you hear that I was like in this traumatic thing? Another guy was playing with himself. And she's like, no, they called me and they said that you gave the license plate number. And I knew you'd already been through it again. And I was writing an offer. She was a realtor. She's like, I'm like, thanks a lot for caring.
Got this. She's a veteran.
She knows her daughter.
She's a veteran with flashers. Oh, this guy again with his dick.
What happens to that guy? Because it's just a slap on the wrist, right?
No, I mean, I don't know. It depends what kind of a record you had. It would be worse now.
Now it would be about. I'm saying back then, it's probably like, hey, man.
If they can prove that you were exposing yourself to school children, you can be slapped with. You can be labeled a sexual offender. You get slapped. I think it's sexual misconduct.
Have you ever looked at that app to see the sexual offenders around your neighborhood?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's It's
like, I did it the other day.
It's like somebody has chicken pox.
Yeah. Wherever it's like,
well, you know what it is.
If
you're in a nice neighborhood and you're like, why are there so many? It's because they all come home and live with their mother.
That's true.
They can't get a job and they're like living with the mom. Yeah, and it's like,
they're living with mom.
Yeah,
also known as losers.
A lot of serial killers are like that.
Yeah,
like there's this really good book called The Murder Room. And it still goes on. It's all these retired detectives and FBI profilers that solve cold cases that never were solved, and they solve them. And this one guy, Richard Walter, who is the baddest motherfucker. He's a guy who actually wrote the kind of the DNA of a serial killer. His specialty is serial killers and sadism.
And that's his book? Sounds fascinating.
Yes, it's fascinating.
You have it, B?
Beyond. Yes, it's called The Murder Room.
Give it to me.
He is a guy who can look at a murder scene. I told you that when they brought him to Scotland Yard, all these, like, Scotland Yard is a famous, it's the British sort of, it's the most famous detective. I mean, they solve everything, you know. And when they brought an American FBI profiler in, the guy who brought him in knew that these men who were experienced detectives and decorated detectives were going to be very cynical. Why are you bringing an American in to teach us our job? We're very smart. There was a crime scene that took them 9 months to solve. And all he did is he put the picture up of the crime scene for this guy, Richard Walter, to prove to these guys what this guy was about. Richard Walter looked at the crime, and I'll tell you what the photograph was in a second. He looked at the photograph, and the photograph was a guy in a barbershop lying on the floor without a penis, and the penis had been thrown in a garbage can. And he was dead. He got hit in the head, and his dick was cut off, and they go, what happened? The guy, Richard Walter, said, my assessment after 3 minutes, he said, my assessment was this guy owned the barbershop. He molested a child whose hair he used to cut. The kid was probably between 9 and 12. He molested the kid, and his father came in after hours, beat him in the head, and cut his dick off and threw it away. That's the behavior a father would have. You put your dick in my son, I'm going to throw it away. And that picture and his ability to do that in 3 minutes was why, you know, Scotland Yard was like, this guy's legit. This motherfucker did something. We tried to solve this for 9 months. And there are classic examples of this guy's ability to read human behavior. He's the guy who would say things like serial killers start with really weird ways. As kids, they'll start
animals,
brushing. But they also do other
Don't
things.
They hurt animals?
Yeah.
It's like a clear sign?
Sometimes, but there's also a progression. So that comes later. What a lot of times they'll do is they'll rub up against somebody. They create fetishes, okay? So all of a sudden, you develop a fetish. You want to rub up against people in the subway. Then you'll be looking in windows and stuff like that. So those fetishes, well, sometimes they'll stop there. But one thing is for sure, as you develop a fetish, you can never go back. We don't have psychological mechanisms that help you go back and not be turned on by that. So it just they have to keep adding to their perversion.
Fulfilling that appetite.
Yeah, a lot of guys will go into department stores and take a razor blade and cut the leather jackets because it's a form of, it's first of all, it's forbidden. They can get caught. Second of all, they're cutting skin. And the FBI is very interested in seeing that. When that happens, they go, give us your surveillance. There's a serial killer. This is a budding serial killer.
There hasn't been a serial killer in a while, like a new one, right?
Well, there has been, but believe it or not, and by the way, this guy was giving a talk on serial killers to all these detectives, and a serial killer who was under investigation walked in.
Called him out?
He walked in and wanted to know more about himself, and he saw him, and he went,
he snitched on him.
Get that guy out of here.
God damn, this guy's a real
he's
baller. He's still alive?
Yes, Richard
I remember when I was a kid, there was a snake in the neighborhood, and I kicked it, and my dad was there, and he said, that's serial killer shit. You don't hurt animals. I'll never forget that.
Yep.
Hey man,
And boys don't
for
know.
Sure,
Boys
relax.
will shoot cats. We don't know.
I never harmed it ever, but I was scared of a snake. I remember my friend caught it and he had it like on a box and he lifted it and I just booted it. My dad got so mad,
But again,
mad.
that's kind of hunter weird instinct. Like some.
Yeah, Dad, I want to die, man. I'm not serial killing.
Boys have destructive streaks and they have hunter streaks and they
I
want
never
to kill
did
and
though.
dominate.
I never did.
Yeah.
I've never killed
Well,
any
you were
animal.
always-
I was the guy who walked around ants. If they were like on the sidewalk, I'd always jump over them.
That might
I'd
have
make
been
all my
because
friends jump over
That might have
them.
been because you got it in sports. You were so dominant in sports, maybe, you know.
Maybe my friends played sports and they killed a ton of animals.
Yeah, boys kill animals. Boys do some crazy.
How weird is that?
shit.
I never got that.
A lot of boys do. I did it. My son does it. I
What?
see it with-
Killed your son? Killed animals?
No. But I mean, there's this
Like
instinct
slugs?
to hunt, like to grab. Not he doesn't. He'll catch lizards. Like he likes to catch them. Not
So
kill
does
them,
my
but
cat.
there's
He's
this-
a boy.
Yeah, there's this need to kind of.
Was he the quickest kid in Calabasas?
He catches birds out of the sky.
Oh, wow.
I teach him kung fu. He's already training his kung fu, and he gets beaten by a bamboo rod about the legs when he doesn't catch the bird.
Yeah, serial killers are fascinating. Heather, why did you decide to to completely flip scripts here? Why did you decide to start a podcast? Because I think podcasting, Rogan and I were talking about this with Brian, that like Rogan's podcast is growing
Amazing.
every month. Ours is growing every month, and I think it's
Well, there's
because
sort of, like I feel like he was like one of the pioneers. Like anybody that's doing it like
Rogan,
more than 3 years.
Mark Maron,
yeah.
they say he's the
Yeah.
Godfather, and Rogan's right behind them.
Yes.
Rogan's a different flavor.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's because it's a sort of media that it's gaining more and more attention. Like we were talking off air.
Yeah.
Advertisers still they're kind of
not
on board,
getting it,
but
yeah.
the ones that do jump on board, they see a spike in sales or they see a conversion. Because if you listen to Brian and Brendan talk, you listen to Heather McDonald talk, you're loyal. You're seeking that person out. You typically agreeing or liking what they say, and they're not honey dicking you because really the advertisers don't pay. We could turn down any advertiser we want. We have big time advertisers come after us. Like, nah, we're good, man. Because with the listeners, if we say, yeah, eat this bullshit or wear these shoes and we don't agree with it, it's short-sighted. So I think, especially this day and age, media, it's hard to find where it's unfiltered, where there's no agenda, where it's real talk. Me and Brian can say whatever we want. There's no producer in our ear.
Right.
There's no one telling us to cut it short.
And
we can have on any guest.
yeah.
We can have on a serial killer if we want.
Yeah.
Have you on. The next day we can have a fighter on. Like, it's literally whatever we want to do. I think that's why people appreciate it.
Well, I also think the people that are listening to you are not out to find something wrong with what you're saying and criticize it and put it out there and attack you like they might with a tweet or something that they find offensive.
Or if you're on
like
E!
your audience, yeah.
Or if you're on E! Because not everyone's tuning in just for you. They might tune in to hear another lady, and then your opinion, like, what? They're like, what the fuck? And then that's when you get the hate.
Right. But I didn't, honestly, when I was on Chelsea lately, I never got a lot of hate. But what's been great about the podcast is like, yeah, everybody that listens every week and loves it. And because because it's like their best friend that they talk to once a week, if you do say something off the cuff or whatever, they're not looking to be offended because they've listened to you for the last 100 hours.
They know you.
And they know you and they know you're a good person and know you're intelligent. They know where you're coming from. They know your sense of humor. So it's like in this day and age with the political correctness of comedians and everything, I think the podcast has been the greatest tool for stand-ups because it feeds the live shows and people are so excited to come and see your live stand-up show and meet you after because they are so addicted to hearing you once a week.
And invested too.
Yeah,
I
way
think,
more than any
for
TV
athletes,
show.
Not that all of them can do it. For an athlete, there couldn't be a better platform. Because as a fighter, before I did this podcast, you would see the countdowns or you'd see me on a show where it's all about fighting. And of course, you're going to talk shit, but you're never getting your story out.
Yeah.
Like, no one was watching me fight Nogueira or Andrei Arlovski because I was funny or they cared about my opinions. They're literally just watch someone get knocked out because of my physical skills.
Big guys go
so as an athlete, there's nothing better you can do. It's tough to do.
Yeah,
It's not for everyone. Don't get me wrong.
The other thing is people go, oh, everybody has a podcast. There's a billion podcasts. Exactly. There are a million. And what is great is everyone can have one. This is an ABC where there's only 4 primetime shows that can be featured. But at the same time, the good ones rise to the top.
Yeah, survival of the fittest.
And we've all been guests on ones where you're like, this is the worst fucking show I've ever been on. Who the hell is listening to this? You haven't asked me one question about myself. And those don't get a lot of listeners. And then you realize the ones that there are like, probably, I don't know how many, probably a couple hundred that are all good. But I'm like, that people realize that you care about it. You prepared your show. You want to give a good show. Like to me, I'll edit down, like I'll lose 60 seconds if I thought it was a boring 60 seconds. I'm like, someone's working out to me or walking with me. I don't want it to be anything but like a great show because they're giving me their time, even though, they're not necessarily paying for it. They, they're giving you your time. And that's what's kind of really cool about the whole thing. And what I also love is when people say, I've binge listened, like Rosie O'Donnell tweeted me this weekend and she's like, I just discovered your podcast. I've been listening to them all weekend. And like, it's amazing. I'm not really sure, but I just appreciate
Scrooge McDucks and on gold coins.
I just appreciate that she liked my podcast.
She's
I respect her as a stand-up and as a host and everything.
She's brilliant.
And one of the stories I talk about in Juicy Scoop is I reveal this really truly dysfunctional, awful sibling relationship I have with my sister, and I always kind of kept it a secret. I have a restraining order against her.
It's that bad.
My third.
Is she a serial killer?
Oh shit.
No, but she's an awful person to me.
What, like why? For sure, let's get into this.
They took it. Listen, this is why I started telling it on Juicy Scoop. It starts in episode 35 if you guys want to start listening, and I do it at the top of the show. It takes about 3 hours to tell the story, to really explain it.
Just give us the cliff notes.
The cliff notes is from a very young age, like she was jealous but I being from an Irish Catholic family, like I was like, I don't want her in my wedding. My mom was like, you got to have her in your wedding. She called me older, 6 years older.
So growing up, you guys hated each other?
No, growing up we were okay. About right around when I started to get married is when it got worse and worse, because for so long I think she was the one that was married with kids and I was super into her kids, and I would go to the Comedy Store and I would date all these people and I'd have horrible dating stories and I'd go on all the dates basically for comedic material. Sure. Then I finally woke up one day, as you did, but I said I'm only going to date appropriate people. Not the weird guy I met at Starbucks just for shits and giggles. Yeah. I'm going to actually date someone normal. So shortly after that, I met my husband. And she acted like she liked him, and then, but she would talk shit, and they're just constant, like, she's just someone that's always about the drama, like, for many years, drama, and my parents would just always, like, forgive her because she'd have these kids, and she'd be like, if you don't apologize, the kids aren't coming for Christmas. And we'd all be like, all right, we're sorry, like, just the constant. Jeez. So then that same thing happened with my wedding. I said, I'm not going to have any bridesmaids to avoid having her. And my mom was like, no, you have to. So then it continued, and then, like she disrupted my when I was giving birth. She disrupted that. Like she disrupted, like screwed up a lot of things. So finally, on my son's first birthday, that when the cops came to that is when I was like, "That's it."
Because she's just causing drama,
freaking out, screaming about a Pooh Bear crate. It's just like you have to listen.
She might have some sort of mental disorder. You realize that?
Yes,
right?
and no, but it's like that's the other thing. It's like, well, it's like
I'm not saying it's okay.
I always was like, I wish I could say she was addicted to meth and went to rehab and went to Cliffside, but it was like, and it wasn't.
She might just be an a-hole.
And it was just more, it was always towards me. Like I have another sister. We both got Toyota Celicas when we graduated from college. It was my Toyota Celica that made her go fucking crazy. I'm like, you do realize that Shannon, our middle sister,
how weird,
got the same exact car, it was just constant. So
why did you have to get a restraining order?
The story.
Did it get physical?
Yes, so that one I got one, then I got another one in 2006, and then they only can last 3 years, and then I would let her come back in, and then finally this last one, it's just too dramatic of a story to tell on your podcast, but people can listen to it on mine. And
you honey-dicked us.
On what?
You honey-dicked us.
I guess so.
You built it up,
Juicy Scoop.
It up, and listen on Juicy Scoop.
And listen to Juicy Scoop.
It's what's cool is that people were like, nobody's ever talked about like troubling adult sibling relationships before, and I feel like I kind of like opened a lid on like something where people are sort of ashamed of it. It's really embarrassing to say you don't get along with your sibling.
Not really, because I think family relationships are tough. Like I
don't think people talk about it as openly as like people don't have other stuff.
But people also don't have the skills that you do to really, put it out so beautifully.
Or you feel guilty, or you feel like,
or you're embarrassed,
or someone's always like, blood is thicker than water, you guys should go to therapy. And then there comes a certain point where you're like, well, now it's disrupting like my marriage and my children, so like I have to say goodbye to like, so that's
because guys would fight.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're going to do that, I'm going to whoop your ass in front of all of my family and friends. Yeah. Do you really want to keep doing this?
It gets dangerous,
There's no restraining order.
Right.
I'm going to hold you down. I'm going to piss on you and put it on YouTube.
They say the worst thing to do is go into business with your brothers. Like brothers that go into business with each other oftentimes, I mean, of course, there are a lot of examples of where it does work a lot of times, it destroys relationships.
Yes, and the wives get involved and the whole thing.
For me and my bro.
Your bro's awesome. It all depends. It all depends on personality.
I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. Like probably. You probably shouldn't, or the roles have to be very defined.
I think the roles have to be defined, but there's
like
also,
you both can't want the same thing. So if like one person is the face of the thing or the salesperson, the other guy is like running the books. Yep. Like it has to be.
Your brother's so well contained in his own skin. Like he knows exactly who he is and is very happy with that.
And he doesn't want to be famous.
Thing.
He doesn't want to be on Instagram.
It's so awesome.
He just wants to run it, make sure no one's screwing me over.
Well,
he deals with the merchandise.
He's amazing.
He's our tour manager, and like no one cares more about the show than him.
No, but that's the kind of thing though that makes someone like me
sad,
jealous. I do have a sister who I'm very close with, and she was just here this weekend, and she's an attorney, and we're not in business together, but we've gotten along our whole lives. But if I, when I hear like someone like you or like that Joe Coy's sister runs his show and things like that, I'm like, oh my God, I wish I didn't have this element because that part of the family I would have included in my business.
Maybe she wants a job. Give her a job.
No, don't do
let
that.
Let her be the producer on your podcast.
Yeah.
Mix it up. It's Crazy Corner with my sister.
Crazy Corner.
It's just like, I'll tell you what's bothering me. That fucking Celica still or something. That's what you need to do.
Give her a
that was 20 years ago. Yeah, bitch, I'll never forget it. And they're like, okay, thank you. That's all from the
Crazy
sister.
Corner.
Crazy Corner.
Dude, you should have her call in for Crazy Corner.
Once a week, Crazy Corner with the sis.
Have her just rant about you and then just click her off whenever you feel like it.
Tell me what it was like when Tell me what it was like when Dad brought home the Celica with the bow on it when I graduated from USC. You fucking bitch.
Yeah. That's what you need.
God damn.
You have 1 minute to tell people why you hate me and go.
Yeah.
Every Friday, 1 minute. Just give her a minute.
Does
she, I'm assuming she
Tell
doesn't
me
have
about
a
the
job.
10-speed in third grade. Tell me about the 10-speed. Tell me about the roller skates at Christmas. Tell me.
Tell me about your boyfriend who flashes dick.
It's interesting to give haters like 1 minute. Why do you hate me? And you have 1 minute. I bet a lot of people are just shy from that. Once you give people the ability to voice that
power, you don't want that power. Social media does it already.
Yeah.
So
you gotta get going.
I have to go.
How much longer do you have?
Like 1 minute.
Oh,
1 minute.
1 minute.
I know we could have gone on for 4 hours. But
what do they do on?
I was supposed to be here at 12, but then you guys had to change it.
I know.
So I could only give you an hour. I apologize. Not at all. This has been so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Let us come on your show. We'll mix it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And
we'll bring your sister
we
on.
talked about important fun
Yes. And so, yes, Juicy Scoop. Everybody, you can listen for free on iTunes. Come go follow Heather McDonald.
Where are you going to be?
At Heather McDonald?
At Heather McDonald for Instagram and Twitter. HeatherMcDonald.net for all my dates. I have lots of shows this summer. I'll be in San Fran, June. Well, this is not playing. When is this airing?
Yeah.
This is tomorrow.
So I'll be in San Fran, June 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday. This Friday and Saturday. Cobb's. Then I'll be at Buffalo Helium, June 16th through the 18th.
Great club.
I'll be in Lake Tahoe on June 3rd at this cute little theater called the Performa. And then I have other things coming up in August. So anyway, just go to my site. Yeah, of course. But I love doing stand-up and love to meet you. So come on by.
Awesome. Heather McDonald.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All kinds of legs. Promo code high school
Evan,
wrestler.
the guy, the body, the beard. Hey, man, where were you this weekend?
I was in Las Vegas for a little event called Punk Rock Bowling.
I'm gonna ask you to face the wall, bend down, and spread them. I gotta make a little inspection.
Did you say punk rock bully?
Bowling.
Bowling?
Mm-hmm. Bowling.
So what do you just like bowl and listen to punk rock?
No, that means he gets fucked by guys with mohawks. Now here's the bottom line. I'm gonna have to check your butthole for stretch marks. Now, I didn't want to do it, but I gotta check it.
Very, very gracious of you.
Well, give us the breakdown. We're good for a while on this.
It's a 3 day long, 4 day long actually punk rock festival in Las Vegas. Takes over all of downtown. It's fucking crazy.
Like who's the biggest band there?
Rancid.
Probably, like Flogging Molly, the Descendants played, Black Flag played.
What was Henry Rollins?
Our boys
Was Henry
H2O
Rollins?
played.
Was Henry Rollins?
No, he doesn't sing for him anymore.
What is it about those events that you like so much? You're just 26.
The music is fucking awesome.
You just love punk rock. Who's the biggest punk rock band in the world right now? Like who's the most mainstream?
Since Blink-182 came back, probably them.
Those are my boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
I completely forgot to talk to you about that.
The Blink-182 picture.
Yeah.
So they're all working out at the gym, and then we're all working out together. We have the same trainer, so we all worked out together, and because they're getting ready for their tour. And then when we got done, they're like, "Dude, we're doing shows all around. You got to come to the show with us. We'll be backstage." And I was like, "Dude, our producer Evan would eat this up." So we have tickets. Blink-182. I think they have their last shows in L.A. and I think they have one in San Diego.
You know what? I think I might actually already have tickets to that.
Well, my tickets are right here, so
Exactly. I will take
Dude,
your
I'm
tickets.
all over that, by the way.
yeah, it'd be fun. And Travis is literally, all of them are great dudes, man.
Yeah.
Travis is a cardio bunny. I'm telling you, cardio bunny.
You can just go and go.
All day. Never seen anything like it. It's because he was saying how he plays drums nonstop for hours. Same with boxing. He doesn't do
I've
rounds.
heard, yeah.
He does 1 hour of mitts nonstop.
That's nuts. Non-stop?
Nonstop.
That seems
I've never seen
impossible. I
anything
could
like
never do something. That's incredible.
Could you play drums for 6 hours straight?
No.
He can't.
It's exhausting after 10 minutes.
Dude,
let alone how long the
mitts
show's
for an
on.
hour is unheard of. That's nuts. I mean, for me, I don't
And
even.
then he'll go on the ropes. He's all day. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. All my years of being around athletes,
That's
I've never
incredible.
seen. I mean, he's not crazy explosive. It's just continuous. If he's like, you scale 1 to 10, he's like in a 6 nonstop for an hour instead of going 10, 2, 10, 3,
Amazing.
6 nonstop.
It's amazing.
He's a beast, man, and a great dude.
Yeah.
Love Blink.
I've never met him.
Favorite band.
Travis.
Great guy. I was trying to connect him and Rogan up because he would kill it on Rogan's podcast. He was going to come on here. Actually, we were going to go to him, and we're still going to do that, but Travis on Rogan's would be epic because obviously I love both those guys. And I connect them on a group text message because Travis's story is insane. And for him to have 3 hours with Rogan, I think it'd be one of the best podcasts of all time. Like if you see his book, it's amazing.
Really?
Oh, his book's incredible.
So like they're going on tour. You know he was in a plane crash and his best friend died.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, his best friend DJ AM died.
Oh,
so
right.
He doesn't fly. He only drives now.
God
he
damn.
refuses to
I
fly.
remember that, yeah.
And he has all these horrible. He had 3rd-degree burns everywhere. Like horrible, man. So
I remember that.
Like the teams, I forget where the band is right now, but he left 2 days ago because he drives there before because he won't fly.
Fuck. So he's all burned up. Does he have scars or he's?
He got tattooed over a bunch of it, but he's better now.
Oof.
Literally one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. It's insane. And for how popular and famous that guy is, dude, he's such a good dude.
It's incredible.
Yeah, Blink-182. Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
they posted the picture of me with them, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
I know we didn't talk about that.
Didn't get Hoppus and like all their numbers and shit and set something up for the show. I'm gonna be.
Oh,
really
of course.
disappointed.
He's just been on tour, so we're trying to figure out time to do the show.
And he takes his workouts as seriously as he takes his music or anything.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he's a highly disciplined dude, right?
Super disciplined.
Yeah.
Vegan, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke.
Yeah.
Phenomenal father. He
It's so
knows
interesting.
cars.
It's so interesting. how-
outrageously good drummer too. Like he's by musically
Top 5 for sure
for
right now in
sure.
the world. I mean, you're talking about a legendary drummer. He's also
that
a drummer.
success is a habit, man.
He's
Jesus.
also a drummer who his book bestseller on New York Times. It's an amazing book, but he's also a drummer who he's kind of been introverted. He's a shy guy. Has his own had his own show on MTV. He's kind of I would say he's the most famous member of the band, and he's a drummer.
Yeah, for sure. Which makes no sense.
That, by the way, that makes no sense.
Because he's very shy too. He's not in your face loud. He loves UFC, loves MMA, knows everything about MMA, boxing. Beast. Him and Rogan together. I'm telling you, man. I'm trying to make this happen. It would be a great podcast.
Damn.
All right, Ev. What do you got?
All right, so we'll jump into the biggest current event of today, which is the UCLA shooting.
God
I saw a tweet from the LA Times that said this is since December of 2012. This is the 186th school shooting in the United States.
It seems to be
We are smoking every country in the world in terms of
big number.
in terms of mass shootings.
A lot of
But-
guns.
Mental disorder.
Yeah,
I would say. Wouldn't you say America has the most high number of mental disorder issues?
I don't know. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's you.
I'd
you
love
have
to see that
You have,
stat.
you have mental illness in every country.
I know. I'm saying I bet it's more prevalent here.
Well, but I don't know because this country also has better access than many countries.
So we probably have more people diagnosed with it.
Yeah, and better access to drugs that control it. I think that the real issue is that mentally ill people have more access to guns. Guns are easier. A lot of people own guns, so they got a brother
like
who
in
owns
Japan,
a gun.
it's gonna be hard to get a gun.
Yeah,
In-
so they use a knife or
in
they
Toronto.
use yeah.
So Ev,
Yeah.
so when we were driving to do the herd, which we'll talk about after this, but
That was
when
another current event. We'll get to that.
all right, when we were driving to the herd, I saw that. I got a text from my brother. I think goes, "What the fuck, UCLA now?" I go, "What happened?" He goes, 2 dead. So is it two? Do we have more details? What happened?
Yeah, so it was a murder-suicide. They're labeling it a murder-suicide because it wasn't. I think it's more than 3 people have to be killed for it to be considered a mass shooting.
Correct.
So there was a rumor that there was a third one dead. That has been confirmed that that's not the case. So there's 2 dead, including and then obviously the shooter. It was 2 males in their 40s.
In their 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't 2. It's altogether 3.
No, it's 2. No. So I'm the murderer. I shoot you. That's 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Murder, suicide.
Right.
So do they know the relationship between the guy and was there a suicide note?
Yeah. Apparently there was.
There was.
And were these guys janitors? What did they do at UCLA? Or they were just on campus? And how's it going? I don't get it.
So I guess one guy came into the engineering building, shot somebody, and then shot himself.
Correct. It was interesting because I guess this would, of course, happen in the engineering building, but a lot of the doors in UCLA either don't have locks in them at all or open outward. So consider, it was the engineering building that got shot up. So these kids were, there are some pictures that have been put out of these engineering students who were rigging homemade out of whatever objects they could find around the classroom, mechanisms to lock their doors.
Brilliant.
Just coming up with all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, because they're engineers.
Engineers, smart as fuck. Good luck getting here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and build this thing. You ain't coming in here.
What would be better, though, is if you could just get behind something with your gun that you brought to engineering class and just squeeze off a couple of rounds when fuckface came into your building. That's my way of doing it. I'm not good with gadgets and improvising locks. I can pull
I
the
guess
trigger.
I can put my fat ass next to it, and you're not getting through.
I'll Tim Kennedy that motherfucker right in his face.
Dude,
though.
it's just a bummer, man. So I'm wondering, we don't know the relationship between him and, because I would assume, I'm no detective and I don't know any details, he has a relationship with the other 40-year-old that he shot.
I would assume so, but that hasn't been made clear.
Like it was his professor who failed him.
They're both 40, so maybe a lover.
Yeah.
Maybe he cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a girlfriend. I would be willing to bet there's some weird
connection. There's a connection.
Yeah, where it's not random.
Well, that's what always.
40-year-old didn't roll onto the campus of UCLA, shoot another 40-year-old in the engineering.
I talked to these detectives in Philly about how they investigate homicide, and they go, "It's not that hard to get confessions." I say, "Why?" I said, "First of all, almost always the person who's killed knew his killer."
Of
course. Knew his killer. Sorry, that was my chair. The rubber on the wood sounded like a fart. So but always, it's always like there are different telltale marks. So you usually know the killer, and when they come upon you, because it's like people don't realize the detective was saying, you don't understand how heavy that crime is. You've been taught from a very early age, since you could walk and talk, that killing somebody is the ultimate crime. And when we descend on you, 2 muscular dudes who've seen it all, and we come down on you.
Oh, you're not hiding it.
People just give it up. A lot of times people just give it up. They're too tired.
And they're sociopaths, and they feel like they can
sociopaths are harder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if it's a regular human who there was passion,
oh,
they committed
you're
a murder.
Fucked.
You kidding me? If I shot someone, they'd come in like, "Holy shit! Why are you sweating like that? Why are you crying?"
Yep. And you know how they know you were fucking them, or you were having a physical relationship?
Semen all over their mouth.
Well,
and face?
Usually when the wounds are to the face.
Oh.
And there's a lot of that in the gay community where a dude will just have his face stabbed 100 times, and it's like,
that's
his boyfriend got
hate.
mad. It's passion hate. There are a lot of telltale signs. This guy Richard Walter said something fascinating. So they find a family, terrible. The wife and the kids all lined up like cordwood with their faces facing the same direction. And he Richard Walter said, well, that this is so clearly the father and husband of this family who killed all of them.
Hannibal, but yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you'll find him living probably within 100 miles away, and he's doing a menial job like delivering pizza. That's exactly what he was doing.
Jesus Christ,
That's exactly what he was doing. But they said, why was he turning their face away? He said he didn't want them to look at him even when they were dead. They weren't worthy. He got mad at them, and they weren't worthy of looking at him.
Or he can't deal with them looking at him.
He just knew the psychology of a killer. Jesus. Really weird. Like he said that some guys who are really, like they found this shallow grave with the remains of a woman who used to be a prostitute. And he said, the guy who killed her was a guy in his 30s, and he's muscular and very macho. And said, why? And he said, and he said the way they did it. He also said that a lot of guys who will kill a woman, like if they're having sex with a hooker or something like that. I shouldn't call them hookers.
Professionals.
Yeah, he'll have sex, and they'll kill a woman, And when they kill her, they won't have sex with her afterwards because they don't want the cops to think that they're freaks. So the minute they're having, so they'll stop immediately. There are all these weird psychologies, man.
Well, you know how schools go on lockdown? I would tell my son, as soon as you hear lockdown, you're not a sitting duck. You find the first exit and you fucking run.
So this is important.
Because unless it's fucking
Yep.
American Sniper off the balcony hitting you, he's not going to hit a moving target unless it's fucking Tim Kennedy. If it's some ass clown who's walking around like Columbine or one of these schools coming in the rooms, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Son, you find the first door and whatever, grab your friend. You're not going to save everyone. You fucking run as fast as you can in the opposite direction.
So Amir Peretz, and he's an Israeli Special Forces guy. He's the guy on Fight Science. When John Brankus asked all the Delta guys, they said, who's the guy? They said, there's one guy to talk to. If you want to put him through the test, like starve him, freeze him, boil him, and he'll still be able to do all the stuff. Amir. So Amir became a friend of mine. Amir said in that situation, he teaches all the top guys how to react in emergencies and stuff. No. Okay. That's another guy.
Okay,
but so Amir basically said one thing to remember is when somebody's an active shooter, they have tunnel vision. They only can see what's in front of them. They're not going to be able to see peripherally because they're in a heightened state. So just tackle those fuckers. Just get behind, run behind them and tackle them, and they will not have the awareness to know that you're behind them. They have tunnel vision.
Little Brown's gonna run a smooth 4.40. He's gonna go in zigzag.
Try to come straight at him though. If he's not if he's in front of you, but if you're behind a mass shooter, run at that motherfucker and tackle him because he's got tunnel vision. He's not going to hear you or see you.
He's not a trained professional where he can see all.
No, he's only seeing what's tunnelly in front of him. That's what happens.
Find the kid, teach you how to take out mass murderers.
That's what you learn on this show, motherfuckers. That's what I do sometimes when I want to say motherfuckers. Hey, motherfuckers. And that's what I say before I hit the guy. You motherfuckers.
You fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
You're a fighter.
Or we sound like we're deaf.
Well, you tackle. Tell us.
You fucked up.
So if a guy, you're as a pro football player, a guy's shooting with a machine gun, where do I hit him in the back? Like, where's the ideal place to take him out when you tackle him?
I don't know. I've never tackled a shooter.
Okay,
before.
but what would you say? Maybe in the middle of the back?
I would tackle and make sure I grab
strip the gun. You strip the gun.
Like I'm a linebacker. Because I don't want to hit him and he shakes me off.
You want to Von Miller that motherfucker?
Reggie Bush shoots me in the face. How embarrassing would that be? That would be worldwide on YouTube.
I think if you were in a heightened state,
UFC fighter tackles guy shakes him off like a scrub, then blasts him in the face with the gun.
I don't think that's going to happen to you somehow. If you're in a heightened state and your life depends on it.
Oh, it's on. Baby Brown is there? It's on.
I'm
gonna rip your face off.
You're gonna rip his literally rip his arms off. Like mountain gorilla.
I'm gonna say get out your phones, kids. World star.
Did you hear Brendan tackle the guy and actually pulled his arms off his body?
Did you hear Brendan tackle the guy? And that was really weird. He ripped his pants down and fucked him in the ass. What? Yeah, man. He just really
emergencies get him super gay.
Wanted to embarrass the guy. Yeah, man. And then he made him deep throat his gun. It was so weird.
Let me ask you this. Guy opens up in a mall, God forbid, starts shooting. You jump behind him, get him deep choke. He drops the gun. You got him in a deep choke. Can I ask you this and be honest? Do you squeeze until he dies? You kill him? You kill him, right? You got to kill him.
Baby Brown's there and there's little
just
kids
kill
and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to kill him.
You're going to kill him?
Yeah, I'm going to kill him.
And do you think you can actually break his neck doing that?
100%.
100%. You can just squeeze in.
Correct. And the adrenaline's running?
Yeah.
His head's going to snap like a fucking...
You're going to hear the bones.
Like a grape.
You're going to hear the bones break. All those years of training at 250 pounds just... I'm sorry, keto kids, so now you're probably 238.
Yeah.
Just those long anaconda arms.
It's going to hurt.
And you're squeezing till you hear...
Yeah.
And he's going... He's trying to tap it. You're like, not today. Not today.
Not today. You fucked up, son.
Can you squeeze that? I wonder if you can get the neck to the point where you can do that, though.
For sure.
You put ear to ear. You go ear to ear, and you go.
I'm sure, man.
I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like how tight can you get your arms though? I feel like there's a limit.
Pretty tight. You want me to just demonstrate just a tad on you?
No, because you'll hurt my neck.
I won't hurt your neck.
You've already done that before.
I won't hurt your neck. I'll just show you. I'll show you 15%.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
See, he's gonna know he fucked up because as I'm going by the mass shooter,
Yeah.
that's a fucking gold Rolex. And then he's gonna go.
So
oh,
he goes
shit.
like this. So he goes,
He's
that
gonna go,
guy's rich.
That's Big Brown. I'm
that
gonna go
guy's
like this.
rich.
Submariner.
Ah, you
All
cut my
gold.
nose.
All gold. Enjoy.
I'll go, all right. Right there. All right.
See right here?
Yeah. Jesus.
That'd be about
You pull
8%.
my head off.
That'd be about
Pull my
8%.
head off.
Now think of me getting my hips in.
But I feel like you're doing it differently than I would do it. Let me. I want to learn. So you're here. You're here. Now you're grabbing your own bicep. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Here. And now, are you going up this way?
No, think more about turning it in like this.
All right. So.
Okay. Yeah. That's
I
good.
got you. Ooh, that'll crank your goddamn neck off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
We
bringing
got some
this.
work to do with you, but we'll figure it out.
I gotta start. I'm getting into it. I gotta start doing jiu-jitsu again. In case I gotta take.
What else you
out.
got, Ev? Fuck that mass shooter. Not even a mass shooter. He's just some.
At least we taught him
fucking
how
idiot.
to dismantle somebody quickly.
People are like, oh, thank God.
By the way, when you sink that
kid's gonna
choke
be
in,
Rambo.
you can't tap fast enough.
No.
You can't tap fast enough.
That's why in UFC, think about it, your adrenaline's up. So like Misha Holly,
Yeah.
Holly wanted it so bad, but when that choke's in and adrenaline's running,
Yeah.
think about all that adrenaline going through your body and you going,
Yeah.
and then you can't tap fast enough.
You're
just
done.
can't.
You're done.
But you're doing everything you can, but then the lights are out before you know it.
Yikes. That's when you actually saw her die in a way.
Definitely didn't die. Let's take it easy. What else you got, Ev?
That's what it looks like.
Let's talk about how you guys were on the herd today. You guys were on Colin Coward's show.
Had a blast.
He's I watch it every morning. He's literally my favorite. He's my favorite TV personality in the business. I've been waiting to get on the herd for a while, and then obviously with the Firing Kid doing well, he had us on, which, he doesn't have a lot of people on. He's very particular, the guests he brings on, so to have us on was fun, man.
Yeah, he
cool to see.
pumped us up too, man.
You're just a good dude, right? You
Yeah.
never know with him.
Great guy.
I didn't know how he was going to take the ESPN Dominican Republic baseball players thing.
beautiful.
Because he brought up Ronda. I was like, yeah, I'll talk about it as long as you talk about ESPN Dominican Republic baseball
was
players.
Hilarious.
Money, right?
His entire office blew up laughing at that.
Money.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because
every TV was on that.
the Ronda stuff, it's stupid. It's old. She's moved on. I've obviously moved on. I have a girl. I have a baby boy now. It's like, who knows what the fuck she's. It's all good. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So I had that. I didn't even pre-think of that. I didn't think you'd bring it up. But when you did, I was like, all right, what doesn't he want to talk about? ESPN Dominican Republic. So it was fun though.
You're always good with that. You can come back with some shit.
Well, but I know him. If you didn't know that stuff, it'd be tough to have a comeback.
Yeah.
But I know his show, and I love that guy, man. He's always done it his way. He said some controversial stuff. He's also the first guy, which I couldn't believe this, being, he's a Fox affiliate, blah, 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 who brought up, Brendan, he's so outspoken, he actually got banned from UFC Now, which no one on Fox, UFC Tonight, Tough Talk, Jay and Dan, no one's ever brought that up. But of course, he's known for the similar stuff that I do.
It's awesome.
So I think he's, he can relate to what we do.
Great.
He's my favorite, man. I love that guy.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool because I know how much you like his work, and I thought you guys seemed to have like a really good rapport.
I know,
you guys meshed together really well.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I appreciated it. I
Yeah,
loved
man.
it. Christine's cool too.
Yeah. Christine Leahy.
Felt like she had a little crush on you.
On me?
A little bit.
From just looking at me?
No, she just liked what you said. Then you got emotional when you started talking about it.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Aw."
Yeah.
I could hear her in the back behind me. She was like, "Aw." It's interesting how she's behind
easy
us,
on
huh?
the eyes. That is weird. Their setup's a little weird. The one correction I make is their setup's a tad weird.
Yeah.
Our setup's not great. But Special K could do what she does as far as with firing the kid. Like, we could have K over there at a desk.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, but her behind us was
It was a
interesting.
little because I was like, all right.
Right.
Like, what's up, girl?
Yeah.
Neck's all fucked up. What's up, girl?
Yeah, I had to turn around.
Oh, you like that?
And then I had to come right back. I was
I
like,
don't know what to do.
But in a way, I wonder. She's very pretty, so I think a lot of male guests might be staring at her more than they were staring at Colin. Maybe
Might be distracted.
Well, she's so beautiful with that
gorgeous.
blonde
She's
hair.
gorgeous,
Yeah, you
yes.
kind of your eye goes there.
Yeah,
you know?
she's a straight dime piece.
Yep.
We have Special K there for social media and stuff. You liked it, K?
Special K's looking very cute, isn't she?
K, you're looking better and better.
I got to admit.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, adorable.
What do you guys think I should do? Go lighter or darker for the summer?
I like the way you
I like dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dark is good on you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
dark's good.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Norwegian
being
and
at the herd.
Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Good combo.
Good memory, B.
Yeah, I don't play around, buddy.
Boom.
Any more questions?
What else
Yes.
you got, K?
Of course, we got some more current events.
Speaking of questions.
On June 4th, Los Angeles is opening. I thought this would be a great current event for Heather to comment on, but LA is opening up a museum of broken relationships. And the entire museum is artifacts submitted by people that had terrible, horrific relationships.
Good God.
And of course, Los Angeles would turn that into a museum.
Oh God.
I mean,
it'd be interesting to see how
Callan,
to fix those.
is that your hell? Like, to you, I know you like it. What the fuck?
I can't. You and I both, like, I was thinking about this, being, correct me if I'm wrong. You and I don't dwell on the past too much, do we?
Never.
Like never. Like
never.
I don't think about my past. My friend said to me one time, he goes, I don't know much about your childhood. I was like, I don't think about my childhood, and I just keep moving forward. Like for me, I'm always thinking, like, I have friends, and God bless them, but they want to they're from high school and they want to get together. I don't much care.
No, I don't care.
I'm so excited about what the work I have to do and where I'm headed, that the other stuff, even my old jokes, even my old stand-up, I'm
embarrassed
moving
of some
on.
of my old stuff.
Of course,
it's weird.
You just want to keep getting better, right?
Yeah, and I think it's been weird, man. So when I played football, as soon as I stopped playing football and I started doing mixed martial arts, I hated when people bring up my football history. Like, what?
Isn't that interesting?
I'm doing this now. Now I'm doing entertainment, comedy,
Yeah.
whatever what we're doing.
Yeah.
When people bring up fighting, I'm like, what? I'm doing this
It's
now.
all consuming, I
It's
guess.
literally like, I'm in this now.
Because you're building something, right?
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to talk about? No, I'm successful in this arena.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Man. It's always, I don't get mad at people. I'm like, why would you want to talk about that?
Also,
Let's talk about
with
this.
stand-up too, like my people want to hear the old bits, but I'm like, emotionally I'm somewhere else, and mentally I'm somewhere else. So I'm trying to make my current life funny, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear you.
And Rogan and I talk about that too. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how good it is. You should kind of mark where you've come and have fond memories, of course. And that's what the basis
Can't
of
dwell on
friendship,
it, though.
No.
Definitely can't dwell on it.
No.
Well, like I was at a coffee shop this morning, and there's a writer there, and he listens to the show. He's probably listening now. Shout out to that guy. Forget your name. I'm terrible with names. Nice guy, though. We were talking about, and he's a writer and has a production company. He's talking about the show. And he was like, how do you guys always find stuff to come up with? I'm like, because it's not even that we have stuff to come up, but we have all these experiences nonstop. Like that CBS boxing, I really didn't want to do it, but it's something that, it's something that's different.
Yeah.
You were doing something, like we just have different experiences.
Yeah, man.
And then you just build off that.
We're also sharing the experiences together. I woke up kind of missing the road. I told you this morning.
Yeah.
I was like, we had such a good time touring.
It's
Like
fun.
I'm always like, damn, man.
That last tour was
it's so
epic.
fun. And
I
with
know.
Jay there and stuff,
I
it's
know.
just, I don't know. It's just new experiences all the time, funny shit to laugh at.
Well, now the new thing, like Finding the Kid 3D was the big thing, and now it's like, all right, so you guys proved that, now what?
Well,
and now we're taking meetings.
well,
we don't have
now-
to get into it.
yeah.
We're writing the pilot for the other things.
Yeah,
so
now we have to even step our game up even more. I guess the challenges never go away.
never.
You got to
It's a good
just.
problem to have.
I honestly, even as a comic, every time we walk into this room, I wonder to myself how we're gonna do it again.
Really?
Like, what else are we gonna have to talk about?
Not me. I believe in it so much. I've never once got. God, where Brian are you gonna talk about?
So
that?
good.
Not once.
It's good. It's good. Awesome. Any more?
That's it for currents.
Boom, 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 ba boom, boom, ba pow.
Boom, boom, bow, boom, boom, ba bow. Before we get into dropping knowledge,
Oh, you got a drop of knowledge?
I got a dropping knowledge,
Drop
but I want
it.
to talk to you guys
Drop it.
about like if you start a business. You want to hire a receptionist, but receptionists cost money. You got to pay their health insurance. You got to do all kinds of stuff. You got to deal with them emotionally.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, man.
Not anymore, man. You want to give your business that big business feel, like you're established. And when people call in, you want them to talk to a real person, not a computer. Okay? But you also want to make sure that that real person speaks English fluently, that that real person has been vetted out, that that real person is meticulous about notes, and that that real person is professional and very personable.
Yeah, they can't be rude like, hey, this is Brian's phone. What do you want?
Guess what? Ruby Receptionist. It's not a virtual. They call themselves virtual receptionists. When I was talking to them, I said, dude, first of all, you guys, they got a 5-star Yelp rating, basically. Because I was like, it's not virtual. You're actually talking to a real person. They're like, oh yeah, they're all in Portland.
Because it's not like
they're all in Portland. They're all.
Because I would think of it before we talked to the company.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like, hello, you've reached Brian Callen.
Yeah.
Please go back.
No, it's a real person in Portland drinking probably way too much coffee. but they're
Who's like, hey, you reached Brian Callen's phone.
Exactly.
Thanks for calling. He's busy, everybody.
Nope. And these guys are professional. They'll take detailed notes. They can say he's out for lunch. He's just out for the next 2 hours, and they will text you or email you any detailed message you want. They can.
Beautiful.
You can tell them exactly.
Business
what you
made
want.
easy. God. Dang, technology.
It's like having a
cool.
model full-time employee for a fraction of the cost. Only one way to guarantee your call is a 5-star experience, and that's with Ruby. So, Ruby.com/FTK, as in fighter, the kid, to get free activation. A $95 value. That's call Ruby.com/FTK.
Oh, yeah.
Call Ruby.com.
We're talking about, do you guys remember Movie Phone? Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 1.
Hello.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Before Fandango and all that? That was great. I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling Brian, I don't know if you saw it when Kramer decided to do it. When Kramer started his own Movie Phone, you remember that? And he's talking to Jerry, and he's all, hello, welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 1. To choose from a list of movies, press 2. And then you hear, boop, and he's all, he didn't think it through, and he's all, why don't you just tell me the name of the movie you'd like to see?
Just tell me the name.
Dude, I used to use that all the time. You'd be on a date with a girl, you'd be like, guy, let's go to Movie Phone. Hello, welcome to Movie Phone.
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. So my dropping knowledge is, I talked a little bit about it last time, but
how about you drop this dick in your mouth?
Oh shit! Dropping knowledge. This is my dropping knowledge. It concerns the fact that we just don't get the important ideas out there. That there is so much good information out there, and it's how do you somebody asked, how do you get to the bottom line of things? It's a difficult thing. How do you get the truth? How do you get the actual answer? Let me give you an example. Vasco da Gama. You guys know who he was? Okay. Anyway, he had a crew of 100. He had a crew of 160 men. They sailed with him around the Cape of Good Hope in 1497. 100 of those men, of 160, died of scurvy. Scurvy was a major problem for people, and we had huge trade routes and everything. 1601, an English sea captain named James Lancaster conducted an experiment where he gave his sailors lime juice. Okay, and basically proved he had a control group. So he had one ship that was taking lime juice, and all the other ships weren't. And of all the other lime ships that weren't, a lot of them died of scurvy. He had to take the guys from his ship and put them over there. So 1601, he proves without a doubt that lime juice stops scurvy. Guess what? Nobody listens to him. 100 years later, another physician, basically does the same exact thing. And it was 150 years later, in 1747, this British Navy captain. It was 100 years later. And he does it again. Nobody listens to him. Finally, another 70 years go by, and the British Navy says, you know what, maybe there's something to this. And all of a sudden, all their sailors were taking limes with them and taking lime juice. It wasn't until 1865, another basically 100 years before their entire, the merchant marines in England did the same thing. The point is, like I said, it took 200 years, almost 200 years before that information from 1601, 245 years for that information to get to the people on the sea that were suffering from scurvy. And that the problem was that the medical community, the scientific community, didn't know how to fucking get to, because there was a guy named Captain Cook who was like, nah, it doesn't work. And you know why people listen to Captain Cook? Take a guess as to why.
Because he cooked all their meals?
Good guess. Very good guess, but no. That's the stupidest guess of all time, but it kind of makes some sense. Because he was a celebrity. And people wanted to listen to him. So it goes back to this.
That's like Johnny Depp trying to tell you
We've got to figure out a way to get fucking science and the big ideas out to people. But how do you do it? When you put Michael Jordan's face next to a hamburger, what happens?
I'm eating that hamburger.
They eat hamburgers.
Oh, you telling me Jordan ate that hamburger?
Exactly.
I'm eating that hamburger.
There are scientific ideas. There are a lot of important ideas, political ideas, even ideas of how to live your life, how to make your relationship better, that are not getting disseminated to people because they're stuck in books. I don't know the answer, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how do we associate, popular people. it goes back to what we were talking about power. There's two types of power. One power is the kind of power where you look at somebody who's more powerful than you and you avert your eyes, right? Because he's dominant. He's your boss. He can beat your ass. You look down. He's a gangster. You look down. That's one kind of power. Then there's the other power. And that power is where you can't stop looking at the person. You cannot stop staring at the person because they are so magnetic and so charismatic. Well, you want that kind of power, don't you? When you're teaching your kids, you can dominate them and say, you're doing this because I told you to, and you shame them. But how do you get yourself in a position where your employees, your employees, your kids are looking at you? That kind of power where they can't take their eyes off you and do what you say because you lead by example. That's the kind of power we should all be trying for. So it seems that getting ideas across, if you want to get an idea that's important to you across to anybody, start first by trying to figure out a way to make them feel have a lot of limes. This is my favorite
Have
way.
a bowl of limes.
Okay, Brennan.
Make sure
kind of, but not really. Like you're kind of
missing the point.
I feel like you're kind of missing the point.
Whenever you want to get a big point across, make sure you have a bowl of limes.
No, see, that's not. No, you're close. If you had scurvy, I'd have to say, Brennan, you're a sailor. I want you to eat these limes. Now, follow me. How would I do it? Would I say, you dumb fuck, you are too stupid to know that you eat limes? You must have a brain the size of an ostrich egg.
That's not the way to do it.
It's not the way to do it. You go, dude, guess what? I suffer from scurvy too. I love you. Don't listen to Captain Cook just because he cooks all his fucking meals.
Is he not a cook?
He's not a cook. He's a captain.
He's missing out. Captain Cook's fish and chips.
If you want to change minds, figure out a way to get to the person emotionally.
Relate to him.
Relate to him. Make them feel emotionally safe and valid.
And have a shitload of limes.
That's all it is, brother.
Listen,
God.
Brian. I like that one, brother.
Not bad, right?
Not bad at all. I'll tell you what's not bad, though. Gifts.
Now, hold on, dude.
I'm not talking about giving limes. Don't give people limes. Unless
they're dying of scurvy.
Which is tough to find.
Gift.
But how tough is it to find the perfect gift for a guy? I'm talking about dads, husbands, brothers, uncles. They're notoriously hard to shop for. Unless they have scurvy, then it's just give them a bunch of limes.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Give dad something to brag about this year. Well,
like what?
Besides you, give your dad something to brag about. Give him something from touchofmodern.com.
Touch of Modern.
That's touchofmodern.com. Go there right when the show ends. Great site for gifts for dad or even yourself if you're selfish. Timeless and unique products every time you go to the site. It's like being a kid.
What can I get?
It's like being a kid in a candy store.
What can I buy, bro?
Unbeatable pricing.
All right. What else?
They have everything, man. Jaw-dropping tech gadgets and gear. Home brewing kits. Premium steaks.
Home brewing kits?
Yeah, man. It's like the Swiss Army knife of online gifts.
I can get steaks and make my own beer?
Yeah, how about eye-catching, cool, new...
God, where'd you get this beer? Made it in my bathtub. Drink up.
Men's fashion, accessories. They have everything. If you need a gift for a guy, go to Touch of Modern. That's right, guys. Right now, my listeners... I hate how they had that. Right now, my listeners, listen up.
My listeners. Right now, my listeners.
Toss those limes unless you have scurvy, then go ahead and milk your body in it. But you can get immediate access with these deals.
Do they sell limes?
Sign up at touchofmodern.com. They don't. If you have scurvy, just take your ass to the grocery store.
Okay.
That's touchofmodern.com. Do it today because tomorrow it might be different. Mm-hmm. That's how life rolls in the fast lane. Yeah. I wish I didn't say that. They wrote that. Touch of Modern. Hopefully you don't have a touch of scurvy.
Do you know what they used to...
a touch of lime.
Do you know what else they used to eat besides limes for 10 points?
Shit.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? Football did me no service.
No. Sauerkraut.
I've heard that.
High in vitamin C. Do you know that salt... You know what salt did? Salt was what was salt used as? What was the biggest thing salt was for historically? That changed the landscape, the historical landscape.
Was it a preservative?
Exactly.
God damn it! Give it up.
Salt was a preservative.
Fuck you.
You could salt vegetables and you could salt fish.
Hey, did you know sugar used to be like gold back in the day? It used to be like a currency, like gold sugar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a commodity. Trading commodities. We traded commodities. Yeah.
Sugar used to be currency.
And salt was the same thing. Salt, you were able to dry fish and salt it, and then send armies long distances. That's how you could
I'll do you another
sustain
one.
them.
You know the term catfish? So you meet a chick online and she shows up. It's really a dude with a beard.
Sure.
You know the term catfish came from that back in the day when they used to have fish on ships coming from wherever, let's say Spain to America.
Yeah.
When they'd have cod, when it'd be like several cod in a bucket,
Sure.
the cod would die because they would stop moving.
Yeah.
So the sailors would put in a catfish to keep the cod on their toes. And
Really?
they constantly move. And
Ooh.
the catfish would chase the cod so everyone come to the shores alive. So
Damn.
the term catfish comes from always keeping you on your toes.
So you had basically fresh cod.
Yeah, fresh cod. They'd stay alive because the catfish constantly keep them on their toes, nipping at you.
Huh? Isn't
So
it?
the term catfish.
I wonder if
comes
I
from
wonder if I
keeping you on
believe
your
that
toes.
story.
No, I promise.
Is it true?
No, it's true.
That's pretty cool.
It's science.
Do you know how they get?
That's science.
Do you know
I
how
love
they-
those guys? Science.
Really condescending.
Yeah, it's like,
and you're not
no,
a scientist.
it's not.
You're not a scientist. It's science, Brian.
Hey, we got an email that I read yesterday about the Tower 7. And this guy goes, "Hey, bro, I just want you and Callan to know I found your talk offensive. I'm an engineer at blah, 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 dick slap face in the school. And me and my roommate are both engineers. And that tower could have went down like that. So you tell Brian that we don't agree with him."
Well, I
sent
had
him a picture, just a dick.
I
said, "How about you take this down?
I had a structural
How would you
engineer.
engineer this dick in your mouth?"
I had a structural engineer email me. He goes, "Hey, bro, I'm a structural engineer." Eddie Bravo's out of his fucking mind.
But this is the thing. Even if that tower came down for whatever reason, it still doesn't mean the government was behind it.
Yeah, I know.
Either way,
I know.
you guys are idiots.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Again, to any of you that send those emails, go ahead and engineer these fat balls in your mouth for me and Brian.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Why don't you figure out how to take this tower dick down in your mouth?
Yeah, I guess
And you can't fly a plane.
I guess
into this
you
tower.
guys seem to know what's going on. All these, but nobody in the mainstream press, no one agrees with you. Okay, but they've all been bought off. They've all been, the thing about arguing with Eddie, and I love him, is that I can't mount an argument because if I say the New York Times, if I say anything, he goes, "They've all been bought off." Like all my sources are discredited. He won't credit my sources.
Nothing.
I can't even say I read a book about it. He's like, "That's all bullshit."
So
I'm like,
the government wrote that book for
before
him.
I even get it out, he goes, "New York Times, they've been bought off. Wall Street Journal bought off." I'm
Anyone
like, all
you
of them?
say, anyone you
Everybody's
say,
been
anyone.
bought off? How
Well,
can
Fox been bought off.
I can't argue.
The government controls Fox.
Everybody in the press, except for the couple of YouTube videos and a couple of rogue CIA guys, apparently they work there, but there's no record. Apparently those guys and the 2,500 structural...
I like the college kids email us.
Well, those guys, I should listen to those.
Two roommates from
before you guys were
getting
born?
their degree from fucking University of Phoenix engineering school.
And by the way,
Online.
how about this? Don't believe them anyway. Now,
No, I don't either.
wait, I was going to say something that
like that
cracked
they're
me up.
creative.
That cracked me up. What were we talking about? What were we talking about before that?
We had our boy Ryan from the Greats in studio. We're gonna do a collab with him.
Yeah, man.
Pretty excited about that. Might be the first podcast with our own shoes.
Hey, you got to order me those. What are those?
Prontos?
I want those Prontos.
Yeah, well, for sure. Pronto. I'll order them pronto.
You're silly. What time is it, man? We got to get going.
Oh, snaps! We got fan questions. Fan questions. Fan questions.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, before we jump into these marvelous fan questions, they keep getting better and better.
They sure did.
Before we jump into them, I'm a looking and I'm a liking what you're wearing. But however, you can't always dress like it's fall all year long. We jump into summer.
Yeah,
we jump into summer.
now.
And 54club.com, they're putting their summer package together. And I picked them out personally for you guys.
You know I wore that bathing suit.
I wear it every night to bed.
What? I didn't
No,
know.
I do wear that bathing suit every time we go to the beach.
Ooh,
Because, hey, fellas, those long N1 basketball shorts to the beach,
Passe.
No.
They're passe.
you don't wear those. Yeah. If you want a sign that says, "Hey, I don't know shit about fashion. I want to look like a dumbass," go ahead and wear those long
Let's
board
go ahead and
shorts.
see those thighs.
Let's go ahead and get those quads out.
Let's get those
Get
quads
those juicy
out.
quads out.
You've been
And they're
squatting, biking,
stylish.
running, sprinting. Let's go see
The
those
tees,
quads.
the swim trunks that we're dropping, the
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
The shorts, you're welcome.
54club.com.
I picked them out myself for you guys. Tell me what you think.
54club.com.
54club.com. Promo code FIGHTER, 50% off
Stay
your first
cool.
month's
Stay
purchase.
cool. Stay pretty. I just invented that. Stay cool, stay pretty, kids.
And if you guys are like, I don't know, is Big Brown and 5'4" honey dicking us into what's cool? Nah, go ahead and open up any GQ magazine, go on Hypebeast, whatever you want.
Hey, worst case scenario, you get 3 pieces of clothing for $30. So eat a dong.
Boom. 54club.com. Eat a dong.
Eat a dong.
If you don't like it, fuck you. What else? Fan questions, Evan.
Hey, man.
All right.
Hey, man.
First fan question comes from
Jesus
Walter.
Christ.
My 5-year-old asked me what fucking is. Ironically, thanks to Brian's dropping knowledge segment. What's the
boy.
best way to tackle cursing for toddlers?
Just tell them fucking is when you cram your piece into somebody.
Well, you know what they say? They say kids who are sheltered from cussing, it's not good. So I'm not saying have your kid have the sailor mouth in school, but you can't. They need to know they can't say it in public, stuff like that. But you can't shelter the kid who don't cuss.
I think it's
don't
fine.
do that.
I think
They
it's
actually show kids who grew up cussing are actually smarter overall.
But teaching
IQs.
kids what sex is, that takes a little while. I don't want my kids knowing that until I'm ready.
How did you find out? I found out from like a porno. I found out from my friends in porno, and then my dad, like 3 years later, was like, I need to talk to you guys. Me and my brother in his, I'll never forget this, his Eddie Bauer Bronco, a 1987 Eddie Bauer Bronco, tan. The thing was sick. And we're riding in the back, me and my brother, 2 years apart, so let's not have the same conversation. We're driving to like the Ark or something. We drive to the Goodwill, and he let us pick one thing out. Now I think it was really cheap. But he was as really cheap. Way to go, Dad. I'd had like one ski. My brother'd have like one soccer glove. It was weird. Anyways, he was like, it's time to talk about the birds and bees. Now, when two people love each other, it's a thing of beauty. Like, we didn't get into
I love
it
your
at
father.
all.
I love your
It was
father.
weird, man.
Your father is such a good guy, man.
Oh, the best.
He loves his sons.
Loves us, yeah.
And he's a sensitive man.
Oh, yeah.
My dad just told me, he just basically told me, and then he said, I paused and I went, oh, no. And he goes, what? I go, you and mommy did that, didn't you? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, me and
I
your
said,
mom.
and I go,
And he went, hey, little Callan, me and your mom went hard.
yeah.
I brammed it raw.
Oh, yeah, raw dog.
Hey, I raw dogged your mom, and you
I was
came
like, Dad,
out.
what does raw dog mean? And
Well, son, that means when you...
my mother would always say, only when people really love each other do they do that.
Hey, Mom. That ain't true.
Hey, Mom, about to raise a pervert because I've done it when I
Hey,
didn't love
Mom.
the person at all.
That's a lie.
How about
I
this?
don't love anyone.
How about this, Mom? Bang girls I hated. All right.
Hey, Mom, how about this? I'll fuck a girl because I hate her.
I'll fuck a racist. How about that?
How about
I
that,
disagree
Mom?
with you, young lady. I don't like the way you talk about non-whites, but I'm going to bang you. And then you got to get out of my house.
I don't agree with anything
That's
you're
when you know
saying,
a guy.
But I'm going to blow this load in your face.
That's when you know a dude is a dude. Like, you could, I don't care if you're a black guy, white guy, whatever. Like, if she's super hot, she could be a rip-roaring racist.
I'll
and you're
put
gonna-
up with
Oh, you
anything.
get a banger. Hey, you racist bitch. This is outrageous.
Oh,
now,
I'll throw you down the road. I
Yeah.
know, Brian's the fucking worst. I
he's the
know.
worst.
Whoops, what's this?
Sure, I'll make out with
Let's
you.
have
even
a
though
hate
you're
fest on Fire in the Kid. How shitty of a podcast it
right.
is. Blow my load. Get the fuck out. It's the best podcast in the world. See ya. As soon as I blow that load, see ya.
As soon as you good douche.
Good douche.
All right,
the
see,
fuck you talking
all right, let's
about?
wrap this up. We're already
All
getting.
right, what else you got,
God
Ev?
damn
2
it.
more.
Jesus.
2 more? All right.
We gotta go.
Let's see here. What do you think about the UFC getting their own podcast? Between Helwani, Rogan, and you guys, it seems like direct competition. Rogan always talks about the podcast community being very non-competitive with each other. So would you guys
we
go
don't
on the
think
show
about
if
it.
they asked?
We don't think about it. It's no big deal.
I don't think about it. I mean, we're in a different category because they're doing, I mean, people hit me up like, oh, shots fired. Oh, they're copying the Fire and the Kid. Hey, man, good luck. I mean, I love Matt Sarin, who's the comic Norton. Jim Norton. Good luck, man. Good luck duplicating this chemistry. Fox has tried it before us. There's going to be a million people after us trying it. I mean, there's enough room for those guys, but
It doesn't
if they're
matter.
going to try duplicating what we did, it ain't happening, man.
But by the way, we
and
like Matt.
I like Matt. I don't know Norton, but I'm sure they're great guys.
guys, man.
I'll tell you, they already fucked up by signing with digital media to do their. Matt should have came and talked to me directly. I could have helped them out.
Yeah.
I would have helped him out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Them signing with agency already, they fucked up. And there's a million reasons why it could be good. And why
Well, if it's a
not.
UFC podcast, by the way, it's also going to be a corporate podcast. It's a tough thing to be kind of. Sometimes you got to watch how you speak, but you know.
You also can't be balls deep in Dana White and have an interesting podcast. What are you gonna? Who do you think? What message are you? I'll just tune into UFC Tonight. Oh, Matt agrees with this. Okay, let me see what Kenny and DC are saying.
Who knows? But
It's not
either way,
Matt's an
it's all
interesting
good.
dude and has great stories.
Yeah, it's all
I
good.
wish him luck.
Yeah, me too.
There's no competition. I
Yeah.
mean, what?
Good guys.
What are you talking about?
They're both good guys. I mean, Matt's great and Jim Norton's great. So you know,
I
all the
wish
best.
him all the success in the world.
That
All
doesn't.
right, last one. Brendan, as you further solidify yourself as a comedian and entertainer, do you foresee a time where you will no longer identify as a fighter and rename the show, or will you forever be the fighter?
No, you're always a fighter. This is a stupid question.
This is staying the fighter and the kid.
Yeah, it's the fighter and the kid. It's
a brand.
I'll always be a fighter. I'll always be an athlete. So, I mean,
Life is a fight, guys. Life is a fight. And I'm
you
always
can't
gonna be
rename
kid.
the show. It's the fighter and the kid. Boom. Cal, they can see you next weekend in St. Louis. Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
June 8, 9, 10, 11.
That's
June
next
9, 10,
weekend,
11.
buddy.
Yes,
It's
sir.
easy for people to find. Go to tfatk.com for all Brian's tour dates. You can find them
Yeah.
there. You can get tickets there.
Yep.
And then also, Brian Cal and myself will be at the Man Awards on Spike TV
Man
this
Choice,
Saturday.
the Man Choice Awards.
Let's Man Choice it up.
Man, choice it up Saturday.
Then a little birdie. We might be shooting a show for Spike next week as well. Boom. We got some stuff in the works. All right, kids. Anything you need, tfatk.com. If you haven't yet, please go check out tfatk 3D, and you can get on iTunes. You can get tfatk3d.com. Also, the Iron Maiden tee that you guys love, the Fire Kid inspired one, the Dare tee, and the original Fire Kid 3D tee, they're all available for purchase individually. You don't have to buy the show. So if you already got the show and the tee, you want a different shirt, cool. Now's the time to do it. Go to tfatk3d.com. All the shirts are available now for purchase. So there you go. And for all you kids that bought the Keto Kid shirts and the shorts, you guys are ridiculous. I love you guys. Let's keep this keto train going. This is the Fire and the Kid. We're out.